Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call the finance personnel meeting to order. Please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Everybody have a chance to go over minutes? First by legislator Twist, second by legislator Walker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any changes? Carries. Yeah. Okay. On resolutions,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move the following resolutions in a block. PS1, PS3, PS4, HS1, EP1, EP3, HE1, IT1 through 7, FP, and that's it.
okay, I have a motion, I have a second by legislator Walpole. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. Under IT 8. Resolution appointing acting director of solid waste program. Carl Schmidt to be appointed as acting director.
Move it.
I have a first by legislator Holtz, second by legislator Lockwood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. FP1. Resolution adopting an investment policy designating banks and depositories of county funds. This is stamped every year, reoccurring. Any discussion? Or, we got a first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Emmons. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. FP2. Resolution of plan sponsor amendment and amending, I said that. Resolution of plan sponsor amending, restating a deferred compensation plan for the county of Oswego. Due to changes in laws, we have a new amended deferred compensation plan. I got a first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Mangano. Hold on.
I just note that this is about 42 million of employee money. The county has no money in it, but the county is the plan sponsor, so the legislature needs to approve the amending and restating of the plan. Deferred Comp Committee has already approved this.
Thank you, Rich. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. FP3, resolution authorizing and amending a memorandum of understanding between County of Oswego and the Oswego County Professionals Association. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Mangano. This is an extension on the memorandum of understanding we had, and this is also to include director of preventative services. Any other questions? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. Moving on. Julie?
Vacancy review.
Yes.
So today we have, for the fire advisory department, 2 positions in the block would be a deputy fire coordinator part-time who was promoted, it's a backfill from a promotion, and then the admin secretary who's going to be retiring.
We got a first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Mangano. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you.
Okay, and the filing for district attorney is a typist due to resignation.
First by legislator Twist, second by legislator Emmons. Any questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you.
And the following in a block for the health department, principal registered RN due to resignation. The senior public health educator promoted for the backfill. A RN position due to retirement, a supervising public health nurse due to promotion, principal accountant due to retirement, and a public health sanitarian due to resignation.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you.
The sheriff's department has the following in a block: criminal investigator due to retirement in the backfill of a patrol officer, a patrol officer sergeant due to retirement in the backfill of a patrol officer, an additional patrol officer due to resignation, and a correction officer due to the unfortunate retirement.
We have a first by legislator Mangano, second by legislator Lockwood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you.
Social services in the following block is employment specialist due to resignation, 2 caseworkers due to resignation, 1 caseworker due to a transfer to another department. A senior caseworker resigned and the backfill of a caseworker. Community service worker was promoted. There's 3 typist positions due to promotional opportunities, and a social services and attorney due to resignation.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Rahman. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you.
Solid waste, the following 2 in the block: the chief maintenance mechanic due to retirement, and a shift supervisor due to resignation.
We have first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holtz. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you.
And then the county clerk has an index clerk due to promotion. I also want to make note that the position number was incorrect on the originally submitted paperwork, so the last 2 digits should be 02.
Don't let me have it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So you're gonna give me 2 in
I
there?
was gonna get, I got a first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. I expect this won't happen again.
I didn't even know I made a mistake till you just said
From now on, do your due diligence and make sure that the numbers are correct. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you very much. Okay. Moving on. Julie's got some,
Yeah, for the savings year-to-date for 22, and this was as of January 9th, is a total of $164,272. It's almost double from this time last year, savings.
excellent. I like good news. Thanks, Julie. Next. Phil, you got a little something you put together for us here. I think everybody got the paperwork?
Yep.
Everybody got it?
What I want to do is give you a little overview of what the proposed state budget is, the good and the bad on Oswego County. I want to do this so that you have time between now and when the state budget votes, if you want to develop any resolutions or letters supporting or opposing any parts of it. These are the areas to concentrate. In your packet was something that NISAC put together. It was they called it a scorecard, give people a thumbs up or down. And I'd also previously forwarded you a more detailed analysis from NISAC. But what I wanted to do today with this is go over some things that impact us directly as Oswego County, not the more generic stuff that you've already received. Now, I thank the departments that got their budget analysis back to me. If you're not in here, it's not because you're not important, it's because I'm just going to hit some highlights that are either big numbers or big policy changes that the legislature needs to know about. So, first of all, start with some good news. In the health department, this budget proposes to increase our base Article 6 funding by $100,000 a year. And also proposes for the first time to let the health department claim fringe benefits and get reimbursed. So I don't know if it's every position in the health department, but if it is, that's a potential of over $1 million in additional revenue. So this is good news for the county, which approved a restructuring of health. And if this goes forward and is passed, that turned out to be a good decision because it'll be covered. And not so good news is special education tuition. Her budget, the governor's budget, proposes to raise the cost by 11%, which we pay 40% of. That's about a $156,000 hit in special education mandate the health department. In human services, under mental health, they are anticipating some increased demand for services because of certain policies in the governor's budget that promotes recreational marijuana, gambling, and alcohol sales. I didn't know whether to put a thumbs up or thumbs down.
That's the only thing.
Okay. Public assistance, there are proposals to eliminate certain tests for determining eligibility, eliminate the 45-day waiting period for safety net. Long and short of it is this may cost us more because it'll be easier to get on safety net and people may stay longer. That's a thumbs down. Foster care. These are early estimates. The governor is proposing to mandate that counties pay 100% of the state aid rate for foster care and adoption. Many counties do this, some counties don't, particularly the rural counties like us. It's going to force an increase on us. Those figures at the bottom of that slide are early estimates of potential impact. 2023 is the worst of those years, but we have to be compliant if this passes by the middle of 2023. We're paying the maximum for foster care and adoption. Also under human services, some better news. 5.5% increase for many of Office for the Aging's programs, and also more funding earmarked for senior housing. So it's an overall good budget for senior citizens in the county. Same with the Youth Bureau, significant increases that we will share in for runaway and homeless youth services and youth sports activities. The workforce development, also increases for Workforce Investment Act and TANF. And that's across New York State. We will see some of that, and it'll offset the cost of increases in minimum wage that some of these positions pay. This was another one. I wasn't sure whether to put a thumbs up or thumbs down, but I'm going to be an optimist. The governor is proposing to create a new Office of Workforce and Economic Development, and with $350 million in grants for workforce training programs focusing on healthcare careers, daycare, apprenticeships, internships, and paraprofessionals. So let's hope that works if it passes. No, cannot. There we go. Moving on to public safety. Some good news for us is that the budget fully funds the Hurl Herring settlement still, meaning that our new public defender office will still be fully paid for 100%. Under emergency management, we have talked a little bit about this before in committee. There is a what my slide? Oh, I went forward. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Under emergency management, I keep my hand off the mouse. There is a proposal for establishing pilot counties for countywide EMS coordination that we may be able to take advantage of. and mobile integrated healthcare, which will also validate or shows the need for the MS coordinator position that the legislature is considering. Oh, thank you. Just in time for me to move forward. Probation, about $10 million extra in additional monies for alternatives to incarceration. We already get about $20,000 a year, so you may see an increase there. That'll give you, so that gives you a thumbs up. Criminal justice reform compensation. The DA shared with me a memo he got that indicates that this proposal, $40 million proposal, isn't funded. So that may be, a feel-good thing that's in the budget that's not going to happen. Under economic development and infrastructure, the bidding limit for CHIPS is being increased from $500,000 to $750,000, giving us more flexibility in how to use those funds. There is a proposal to leverage, it's called Connect All, to leverage about $1 billion in new public and private investments into broadband for rural communities. This also eliminates the fees the county has to pay for the use of a state right-of-way if we're putting in fiber optic. The only caveat is that that right-of-way and those fees are only waived if you're using Connect All funds. If it's your own county project, that waiver of those fees isn't in place. So if there's any change to that, it ought to be that it affects all broadband projects, not just ones funded through Connect All. A new initiative similar to the DRI is New York Forward. This is $100 million to revitalize the downtowns of smaller places and cities, like our villages might be able to qualify for some of this. So that's one we got to keep an eye on too. Thumbs down, I'm recommending to offshore wind investment, considering that this may involve what this legislature has many times been opposed to, is offshore wind development here in Lake Ontario. Under taxation and finance, the governor is proposing to make the 1% additional sales tax permanent. This is good for us. Right now, we have to go back every 3 years and try to get home rule legislation passed to extend that. The dollar value to that is $11.25 million to us and $1.25 million to our municipalities. Another positive within the governor's budget is the proposal to stop funding AIM, or Aid to Municipalities, by skimming our sales tax. This has historically always been a state cost, and a couple of years ago, the former governor got passed in his budget to begin skimming our local sales tax to pay for that. For us, that's $500,000 and change. This governor is proposing to take that back as a state cost. On not so good side, that is not the only program that they are skimming our sales tax from. As you may recall, the state started to take some money from us to fund what they call a distressed hospital fund. This began during the pandemic, and the idea was to take a bit of county sales tax away from us, put it in a fund to give to distressed hospitals who are suffering financial losses due to the pandemic. Problem is, they have never allocated any money from that fund to any hospital. They've been doing it for 2 years. They've taken $501,312 from us each year for the past couple of years. In fact, after the first year, they had $250 million in that fund, and they swept it into the general fund. Unfortunately, the governor's proposed budget continues this practice. So you're seeing a NISAC and the counties get together to take this on, to keep local taxes local campaign. And it's not only, it's yes, good job on the aid to municipalities and stopping skimming our money, but you need to do the same with the distressed hospital fund, because it sets a precedent. If there's other funds they want to fund, they can come in and skim our sales tax, so we want to put an end to it. You will hear a lot of bad policy arguments on this, such as local taxes shouldn't be used to fund a state program. We do it all the time, but this one's particularly egregious. But I wanted to put it in a more tangible form, so I wanted to equate it to what that $500,000 would pay for us. So what would $501,312 be to us? And that's how much we're losing. That would fund over 83,000 meals for senior citizens. But instead it's going into a fund that's not used. Earlier today you approved replacing 2 unsafe bridges. This would fund those 2. It would pay for 7,700 lab COVID tests. You need new batteries. There we go. Okay, local cost of 18 child protective investigators at $500. Instead, the state feels it's better to put it into a fund that's not used. It would fund 6 road patrol deputies. We all know the need for that. We could run 3 camp houses. That's the local cost. $500,000 would fund 3 camp houses for the kids in the summer. We could repave 3 miles of county road. We could fund 6 more public health nurses. And since we use sales tax mainly to lower our property tax, it's over 1% of our property tax levy, or reduce our generic tax rate by 8 cents. So as you consider what you may or may not want to go on the record for with state representatives, or sending things to the governor in resolution form or letter form, or even if you're just having conversations with state reps, I wanted to give this to you so you had make some decisions of what you wanted to highlight. Your biggest impacts are going to be the this sales tax grab, your probably adoption subsidies and foster care costs in DSS, and the safety net cost increase. So with that, I'll just open it up to any questions or comments anybody has.
Anybody have any questions for Phil?
The foster care costs, is that money stay local, or is that going to a state fund as well?
Foster care is paid to who's taking care of the kids, whether it's a parent or an institution.
So the people taking care of the kids are getting an increase?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for Phil? Okay, thanks, Phil.
Yep.
Don't know how to take that if it's,
So it's always a mixed bag.
yeah, it
It's
is.
been worse, but it's not all good either.
Yeah, okay. Any other updates you got for us, Phil?
We are, we have used, we've ordered some tests that we will be able to have at public giveaway events. So I think we got confirmation today that those are about to be shipped to us. We might have them this week, or shipped this week. So not just for this committee, but all legislators will get a schedule of those public distribution events of the COVID tests, and they're going to be geographically dispersed around the county. So,
Thank you. So we'll look forward to seeing that information.
Yep.
Treasurer is not here. We have the information in our packets that he has given to us. As usual, if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to him. And he apologized for not being here today. Purchasing.
Well, I'm working with IT to develop the bidding online so that people don't have to come into the office when we open bids. So that's our big project. And also I'm part of a project team for the Munis upgrade, purchasing, treasurer's office, admin, HR, and IT, of course.
Okay. Very good. All right. Anybody have anything else? Phil?
Holly and I will be working together to revamp the purchasing policy. So hopefully next month,
That's right.
if I say next month, then now we gotta do it, so.
It's in the notes.
Yeah, we'd like to see it by next month, but if it happens to, that's good. Keep us informed, let us know. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
We got a motion to adjourn. Got a second by legislator Halls. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?